Good evening, Jedi Knights and Sith Lords. Welcome to the Star Wars Artifacts show. Today, we're going to be talking about episodes 6 and 7 of the Ahsoka series. Um, and we're going to be joined by a special guest because Dom is actually still in Florida right now, enjoying his time on Battu. He's been there for the last 9 days, I think. I joined him actually for the first few, and I think he's having the time of his life. So I'm here with Marie-Claude, who you've seen her
Hi.
before. I was AKA House of Naboo on Instagram, so give her a follow if you're not doing so already. Marie, how have you been?
I'm doing fine. I'm a bit tired today, but so far so good. And what about you? How was your trip?
Oof, it was good. It was a bit
It was
short.
an adventure.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I left on Monday, last Monday, and I came back on the Friday. So you kind of lose 2 days of the traveling and getting there at the airport early and all
uh,
that. So I
that
did
part
spend,
sucks.
yeah, and especially like on the way back, I was actually there was a few French Canadians that got on the same bus and the same flight as me to
Oh,
get
really?
back. Yeah, so
Okay.
I was with one lady and she had a stroller with her very young kid in it, and while we were waiting for to go through security, some guy came out of nowhere and he said, "Oh, she's gonna owe you a hug." He goes, "I'll give you a bit of a hack here. Go over there and go through like he sent us where the handicap kind of like
Oh,
thing
okay,
was. He goes,
okay.
go over there and with the stroller and it'll take you 2 seconds. You won't have to do the whole zigzag like so." In
Oh, that was
Orlando, there's
nice.
a huge kind of like wait and so I'm like, well, I should have just shut up. And I go, well, we're not really together, but I'll definitely go. So, but it's because we were talking, and so it was almost it's fun because you didn't have to wait, but then I ended up waiting. We got through
Hmm.
security so quick that I was waiting for like almost 3.5 hours, just sitting there doing nothing. So, and I don't really like flying that much, so there's that too.
Oh, you don't
Uh,
like flying?
no, I'm not a fan at all. So, and I
Uh,
was by myself, and anyway, so. But all that to
you
say, it
miss your
was it was
family.
fun. Yeah, well, that's one thing. The whole time I was there, Disney's fun. Like a Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge was fun with
Mm.
Nick and Dom and Seb and all that stuff. But it's just not the same when you're seeing like the Disney characters and your kids aren't there. Like it for
Yeah, the
me,
feeling's not the same.
yeah, it was a little weird. So it was like a little bit homesick, and I was just tired. So,
Oh,
but overall, it was an incredible experience. And actually, I've got a couple of shots I can share here.
nice T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, nice. I don't know who designed it, but it's
I
really
don't
cool.
know.
Yeah,
The person who
uh,
did it, she did a good job,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
So that shirt, by the way, is available on our shop, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, that's the shirt we finally wore. Special Star Wars Artifact Galaxy's Edge edition. So it's me, Nick, and Dom here in front of the Falcon.
It's a very nice picture. I like
Yeah,
it.
it looks really cool. It's a couple of other shots, so I'm sure we'll have an episode. Dom's going to talk all about it, but just a few shots here. This was inside, so we were able to go. So Dom obviously he couldn't really do all the rides, but we were able to get quite far in the two rides for Star Wars with
Oh,
him.
that's nice.
Yeah, so he were able to get to this point. This is really right before you go in the cockpit for
Oh, okay.
Smuggler's Run. So
I
there's that
love
portal.
Nick's face. He's like surprised or something.
Yeah. So it was Seb. He goes, let's pretend like we're playing. I don't know if he's got plans on doing some kind of Photoshop or something to put the
Yeah,
figures there.
I, I should have the oh the I don't know how they called the little
The
figurines or
figurines,
something.
yeah, or whatever they have, the
Yeah,
3D hollow
I,
things there.
yeah, I should have them, and
Yeah,
it
it'd
will
be
make a nice picture.
so. Yeah, so it was Seb, me, Nick, and then his Dom's parents. And then this shot was in the Rise of Resistance when once you've been captured and you leave, so you have all the stormtroopers back there.
Yeah, that
Um,
part looks
yeah,
amazing.
it's
The,
incredible.
when you enter, you see all the stormtrooper.
Yeah, they're
I
all.
mean, it
It's
must be
really well
amazing.
done. So, but and he's there. He's got his 501st Quebec Garrison shirt on and everything. So,
Hmm.
a few shots there, but I mean, we'll have for sure an episode and talk about the whole thing
Oh, I can't wait to see this
soon
episode.
enough. But before we get going on this, so we're going to talk about episode 6 and 7. We got two episodes to cover. Reminder about our hyperspeed towards 2,000 subscribers. So if you can, help us out, like, share, anything you can do to share the our YouTube channel. Once we get to 2,000 users, subscribers, we're going to be able to, we're going to be drawing one of these statues. The winner can pick whether he wants the San Diego Comic Con edition, the officer, or whether he wants just a regular stormtrooper. But these busts look amazing. I've seen them at Dom's house. So like, share, whatever you need to do to help us out would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We also have, as you were alluding to, our T-shirts for the Ahsoka series. The Once a Rebel, Always a Rebel, designed by yours truly over there, Marie-Claude, House of Naboo. She's also got a shop, and we're gonna have to plug that maybe next time with
Yeah,
your.
sometimes, yeah, I just started a new small business about embroidery. Right now, I'm making some beanies, so it's perfect for the winter. And yeah, sometimes I will have to bring them in, show them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll plug them on here for sure. So I got the
Thank you.
T-shirts, and if you want the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, like we mentioned earlier, this one here
Yeah, the
fits
blue
it
one
super well. So, well, we put it on blue. You can put on whatever color you want, but we thought that this fit very well with the look. So it's got a
with the
gold,
gold. It looks
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
it's got kind of gold sandy look to the
Mm.
logo. It's got a little GE Galaxy's Edge edition. So hit up the Redbubble website. It's the SW Artefacts if you want to do a search. And we have also the link in the description for the video. So without any further ado, let's move on to the episode
Far, far
breakdowns.
away.
So we actually watched this. I think we were it was me, Nick, and there was Stefan and Annie, which the famous droids you've seen buzzing
Mm.
around on like the Grogu. So it was the builder, that the couple that made those. So anyway, we went on the trip. They tagged along, and we watched it together in the hotel. So it's funny because we had just seen the episode before with Anakin. We're like, okay, well, how are they gonna top that, right? Like it's like,
Yeah, I was so nervous because the Anakin, sorry, the episode with Anakin was so amazing. I
yeah.
was like, oh my God, are they gonna top that? Say,
Well, this one
so
was all right. So I mean, if we dig in, I mean, we finally, so where they left off with the Purgles and like going
mm,
into light speed, and we had a little conversation with Ahsoka and Hu Yang on the ship. Um,
yeah, and this part was very interesting because Yuan said the story of the galaxy part 1, 2, and 3, and Ahsoka said one being the best, of course. So
yeah.
I don't know if she's talking about the trilogy or the
Well, yeah.
trilogy.
So they're talking about the
So
sequels, or just saying that the original is
yeah,
always the best. So it was a little weird. It could be interpreted, or maybe it meant nothing, but it was kind of weird that, like, yeah, one being the best, of course. I'm like,
yeah.
this
Well,
seems like a.
since I'm an episode 1, 2, 3 baby, I like thinking she's talking about episode 1 and 2 and 3. So that's my bet.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's like I said. Maybe she's just talking about the original. The first is always the
Yeah,
best, or something, or
yeah, yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think so too.
Again, it could be nothing. Could have just been something that's
Yeah,
part of
maybe.
their
But
story.
the way she said it, I'm sure it means something.
Well, it's like when people talk about the Force Awakens. The first line I think we hear is, "Now this will start to make things right," or something like that, right?
Mm,
Like kind of like they were alluding to, the prequels or whatever. So I don't know. There's always something you can read a little deeper, and you can do that in pretty much anything that's
yeah,
Star
that's
Wars
true.
related, right?
Yeah.
Then we cut back to the ship. That was very short and brief, like that we saw. Ahsoka, and she spoke about to Hu Yang about like how she basically said that Sabine not turn her back, but she's the reason why they're in
Y-
this situation right now, right? And he kind of he felt like he almost didn't believe it at first, right? But then
Yeah. You can see Asuka, she's feeling guilty.
yeah,
Like she let her go. So
well, she
and
said
I
she says something like it was her fate, the choice that she make was her fate or something like that. She was
Yeah,
fated to
something
make
like
that
that. Yeah.
decision. Yeah, so it was kind of interesting. It's almost like she reflected after all that stuff, maybe the experience with Anakin, that like
Yeah.
that's what was gonna happen.
I
Um,
and also I love the part when Johan say a long time ago in a galaxy
oh
far,
yeah, yeah,
far
yeah.
away.
Sure, how can we
Uh,
forget that? Yeah,
that part was like, oh, the feeling it was good. I loved that
yeah.
part.
So I wasn't sure. Like I'm like, that's either gonna make people very angry or very happy, right? Like so I thought like people would just be like, oh, that's cheesy, but like I thought it was kind of
I think
special to have
yeah,
that
it was
finally
special.
canon, right? Like
Yeah, and I think it make people's happy because it's all the nostalgic and the feeling. So I think it was very a nice move.
no, I thought it was really cool to have that part finally be
Yeah.
said in the show or in the Star Wars universe.
Mm.
So we got Balin here, who seems to be giving the impression to Sabine that he was not going to live up to her expectation, well, to the deal that they made. Um, I took this shot here. I just thought it looked really cool
It
because
looks
it's
nice.
yeah, it came
I love
coming
the
out of
effect.
Lightspeed. Yeah, it was incredible.
And I
Uh,
think it's the first time that we see this effect. It's not like I don't think we have ever
yeah,
seen
I've never
something
seen
like
that.
that
I don't know if it's
before.
because if it's a hoop and it's the wind or maybe this the ship, but so let's get the elephant in the room. Dom is not here, so obviously
Uh,
the knowledge and the lore that you're gonna get in these two episodes
it won't be
is
the same.
yeah. So let's manage your expectations. We won't be able to tell you if we're reminded of something, which episode, which minute, and which season. Dom is just like a ball of knowledge that's just you can't compare. So it's like so we're doing our best, and I think we've got a couple little surprises, and Marie-Claude knows her stuff as well. Um, so anyway, moving
I
along
think
here.
so.
So it's they finally reached the planet, and um, to me, I was reminded of Saturn's ring when I saw it. But Maggie,
Mm.
do you want to give us a bit more insight as what is actually found in that ring?
Yeah, I thought the that part was very interesting because I don't know if you ever heard the how it calls the
Elephant
sorry.
graveyard or something like that, or
Yeah, the elephant grave art, like the old elephant know when it's time to die, they go to a place and they die there. And that screenshot, it reminds me that legend.
yeah. So this is, I mean, I think it's Balin that mentions this where the Purgles or something would just kind of go, I guess, to die.
Yeah.
When you get a closer look, you realize it's just like kind of like debris and like bones and all that stuff. So it's kind of morbid.
Yeah, it's very dark. It's
Yeah.
not like you know it's not a happy place.
No. Uh, then we have this Shin. It's like I took this shot. It's been a couple times, and even I think it's not even the end of it. Like where she gives these looks to Sabine of like after their battle, it's like something kind of hit her. I don't know if it's admiration, if it's
A
kind of
feeling,
like
something.
empathy. There's something going on like between her questioning maybe what she's doing, even to a point where like she tells Balin like I thought you said that you had a deal and you're not going to live up to it, right? So it's like
Hmm.
it's kind of weird what's going on. I don't know what you guys think if anyone's watched, but let us know what you think's up with Shin. Obviously, she's kind of torn apart, I guess, with maybe some kind of like feelings or whatnot.
And maybe she might be more powerful than we know. Like maybe she knows something, she feels something, but she just don't say it. So
Yeah, I'm very curious to know where they're gonna go with that character. I mean, we know
yeah, me
obviously
too.
that Ray Stevenson passed away, so we don't know. I mean, obviously, if you've seen these two episodes, nothing's happened to him yet.
Mm.
So I'm curious to see what's gonna happen in the finale to see like how they're gonna write him off, or are they gonna find someone to replace him? I always thought the guy reminds me of Gerard Butler with white hair. Just
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
so it's
right.
like it wouldn't be too bad of a casting, but then there's that respect thing and what they want to do with that. So here I'll let
And the way
Maggie.
he played the character, so
Yeah,
we don't know if we can find someone who can do the same job as him.
well, he's got an
So
imposing presence. I was looking at his shoulders,
yeah,
just large. He's a big guy. Just like I don't know, it's going to be tough to live up to that act
Mm.
that he's done. So they showed up here finally. I forget the name of the planet. That
Oh, I don't remember.
yeah. It's got me. If anyone
That's where
remembers,
we
yeah,
need Doms.
Don would have rattled off the top of his head. It's funny because I rewatched both episodes today. But yeah, so I think I had it somewhere, but it doesn't matter. So they finally arrived to on the planet, and you can see these kind of statues of the Night Sisters.
Mm.
And Megan, I don't know if you want to give us a bit more information of what you know about these.
Well, first of all, I was very, very happy. I don't know if you can show them or it's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
this shot. I was very happy to finally see some real Night Sister. Um, I love how the ground float and the voice. It's all dark and it was very, very nice. Also, some nice fact is the Night Sisters follow the same rule as the modern witchcraft, like Wiccan, neo-pagan, stuff like that. Like the rule of three is something very, very important for them.
Okay.
Like the you have like three stage of life, like the maiden, mother, and the crown. Even the moon, the new half and the full moon, and even the Holy Trinity if you're a Christian. So I think it was very nice that they pick up some piece of history and stuff like that to create them. So yeah, it was very nice to see them.
So I mean, I don't know anything or much about it, but are these essentially the three Night Sisters, or would you know if it's the Night Sisters that we saw, like the statues of? Remember when Ahsoka went and found the ball, like the map, I guess.
Yeah, they look pretty much the same, and I'm not sure, but I think these three are the main real Night Sister. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like the I guess the higher calling or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I forgot their name. Just give me a second. Okay, the Great Mother. Her name is Coltro, played by Claudia Black. The second one is Arktrupa. Oh my god,
yeah.
played
Whether
with.
you name him or I name him, it'll be I'll
I
butcher the
feel
names
bad
either
for
way.
saying the name. Played with no, sorry, played by Gerald Prescott Gillian, and the last one is Lactis. Oh my god, it's horrible. I feel bad. Sorry. Played by Jane Edwina Seymour. So yeah, that's the
So
three witches.
so the planet, it's what I've been kind of is Peridia.
Uh,
Yeah. So, and
you're
I know
right.
because like it when Balin's talking about it, about like it was just like kind of like you know little tales that they would tell each other. I guess when he was at the academy or whatnot, like it was like old folks tale, like it was almost like legends about this
Oh yeah,
planet, right?
I
So
remember that
he
part.
mentions that a few times.
Yeah,
So it's funny because
and
they're like that when Sabine shows up, they're like it reeks of Jedi. They made that comment, and I'm like, as you can see here, they sent these little orbs to kind of like capture her, or I
mm,
guess like restrain her. But like in my head, I'm like, how did they? How did they feel it? Like she has no, as far as we know, she's not really that force sensitive, right? Um,
yeah. And for a second, I wasn't sure if they were talking about her or maybe Balin. I don't know.
that's a good question. Yeah, it's a good observation. But this is what they said. It reeks of Jedi, and I'm just like, huh. It's weird. And it's funny. Like I'm gonna digress here for a bit. I saw a picture today where, um, someone said, I think it was like which we're gonna get to later, but you see Sabine without or no, it was Ezra without a lightsaber, and they go, not all
Mm,
Jedi's uh, have lightsabers, and I'm like, well, at one point, well, if not all Jedi's have the Force and not all Jedi's have a lightsaber, then what is a Jedi? Like
yeah, exactly. It's
I'm a Jedi, you're a Jedi, right? Like so, it's like I find like they're just removing all this stuff. Like you don't have to have an identity, and I don't know, that was a little bit weird to me.
well,
So
to me, a Jedi is someone who have a lightsaber and can use force. So,
that's what
uh,
my impression
it's,
was, but I mean they're probably redefining it, which is fine.
yeah, I
Um,
guess.
so again, at this point here, you just have Shin kind of questioning what's going on.
Mm,
Like she's wondering, like, Balin seems to be distracted by another calling of some sort throughout the whole episode.
mm,
And they talk about he's talking about how the Jedi's the cycle of the Jedi's and the Empire's rise, and it's just a cycle that keeps going and going, and he talks about how he wants to put an end to it,
mm.
which is obviously what we've seen um, in the saga of Star Wars and the stories, the before after, and it's talking about the
Yeah, it's
cycle.
always the same circle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he says he's going to put an end to it once and for all, which is very interesting, um, to find out what he means by that. So that's it. I put the quote here, so I may finally bring this cycle to an end. So it's just weird. He's got this different kind of, like, I don't know, this personal agenda that he's got going. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure he have something on the side. He's not there just for Israel or something or or something like that. I'm sure, like you said, he has this home plan and
well, he remember, like, when they were first trying to get the map going, and he was like saying that there's a power that like never before or something like that. And even
mm,
he had alluded to it before, so it's just weird. It seems really distracting once on the planet. I thought this scene was pretty funny when we got Sabine, who we thought was actually going to be using the Force for once.
yeah. Well,
And
I was happy with that scene because I was afraid they would power her up like Rey or other new Jedi, a female Jedi.
yeah,
But I like they taking her time. Like she's not overpowered right away.
and a
So
lot of the times in her combat we've seen is like she just turns to her old Mandalorian ways, right?
yeah, I
This I
like
thought
that.
was an incredible,
Oh
incredible
yeah,
shot. Like, wow, like, just you could see the people there, like the scope and the size of the ship when it showed up with all the gold kind of trimmings. Um, and then we got to see, what's his name?
Enoch.
Enoch. Yeah. I actually took a shot. I think so. We got
Oh,
the
I
the
love them.
the they got the night troopers is what they call them.
Yeah, night
They're all
troopers.
like kind of like stitched up and put together, and we finally got to see Thrawn, which, at this point you're hoping, there's 3 episodes
Uh,
left, something's gonna happen, and we got to see him. And the night troopers
it
are all there calling Thrawn, Thrawn. Like, it was the
Yeah, that
chant
part
was.
was very special. I mean, I'm not someone who really know who's Tron is, but that moment, oh my God, I had chills
Yeah,
with the music, the scenes when when the night trooper called his name. I was like, oh my God, that's the best entrance,
yeah.
I think.
It was great to finally see him arrive, and
Mm.
I took a shot here, because you could see it as a costume. You could see, like, there's weathering on his
Yeah, it's not
collar,
clean
and
as
yeah, so
usual.
it's like he's, despite all, like, there's usage, but he's still wearing his uniform. Obviously, still exudes a lot of power. And this
Yeah.
Enoch, the captain of my guard, so it's weird. He's a little short for a stormtrooper
Yeah,
when you
that's
talk,
right.
but
That's right, the shirt.
he's got a very kind of, like, so it's like, if you look, he's wearing, you can't see it here, but, like, he's not wearing the bottom of what you would expect from a stormtrooper, much more
Mm.
agile. So I can't even imagine that the cosplayers are going to start jumping on this. And
Well,
even,
even me, I'm not a trooper fan, and the moment I saw the night trooper, I was like, okay, I need one.
yeah, oh, they definitely look cool, and I'm pretty sure some people are going to probably switch up their
Yeah, yeah.
stormtroopers to
I
night
don't think
trooper.
it's a hard job neither. It's just you have to put some gold and
Some weathering and stuff like
yeah,
that. And I'm pretty sure you can improvise the way you want. You got the gray helmet you see back there, the little red ribbons and stuff. So
because they all look different, so it's not
yeah,
they all look the same. So
I'm gonna keep mine the way it is back there behind me. It's not gonna change. So um, and he finds out that they had a hostage. Um, so there should be a great use to us. And the thing is, I've read the first book of Thrawn. I still have like 5 more to go, but you could tell he's always 2 3 steps ahead of everyone. And it's funny because it almost plays out like a Guy Ritchie movie where you just, like, you realize at the end everything comes together. This person knew everything that was going on, right? Like, it's just like
yeah,
it's
you're right.
crazy. he's really miles ahead of everyone, strategic and just like very smart. And you could see
And
at
he's
this
so
point.
calm.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
you don't see him yelling or anything. He's just so calm, but at some times he's so scary.
yeah, the red eyes and everything, and he was already like well ahead of the plan, and
Mm,
to use Sabine to get what he wants, which was probably essentially Ezra. So
mm.
he let her go. He goes, oh, makes it sound like, oh no, I lived up my end of the deal. You helped me, so I'll help you. It's like, and then you have this. I don't know what the species is, and maybe I don't know if Dom would know this because like it's part of I
Yeah,
guess
it's
it's native
something
to
new.
Peridia.
But I forget that the old episode have so much Lord of the Ring feels.
Oh yeah,
Like the Night Sister Castle looks just like Minas Tirith, and also the wolf, this one that
yeah.
Sabine rides, look almost like the same of the. Oh, just give me a minute. I think they are called wargs or something like that in Lord of the Rings.
You know what? I've only
Yeah,
seen
some.
that once. There's
Oh,
too
okay.
many of those movies and stuff, and
But the whole episode feels just like a Lord of the Ring movie.
well, it's true. The landscape and everything, it just like the
Yeah,
scenery and everything looked a lot like it. So letting her go, making her think that she's. I mean, I can't imagine that she was that naive, but letting her go and basically in his mind, it's like, well, she'll lead us to Ezra,
mm,
and then he sends off Balin and Shin to go after her as well to like um, you know
see where she's going.
exactly. And then she ends up I guess, meeting some local kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to say bandits or anything like that. So she has a fight with them, and then her wolf or whatever it is ends up running away and leaving her,
Hmm.
breaking out the
That part
lightsaber.
was funny. Yeah,
Yeah, so
and
like
the
they're afterwards, yeah, it was pretty good.
mm,
Um, and guys, it matters not whether Ren and Bridger are killed or stranded here. So he just and you get that impression from Thrawn. He just wants to go home at this point, right? He just wants to get
yeah,
out of there, and
he's sick
he's
of be there. Yeah, he just want to go
yeah,
home.
yeah.
And
So that's his main objective, and he mentions that about Ren and Bridger, and he also says this thing about her, about Shin and Balin. He's like, it matters not for them either, right? Like you're
yeah,
mercenaries, and
he
they
don't
still,
care about
yeah.
them.
He's,
It-
and that's how he is, right? So he's very clever. This is a little scene we're talking about here we skipped over, but like yeah, so like when he comes back sheepishly and she's like, you abandoned me and all this stuff, and he's like a little
that
like
part
a
was cute.
yeah, like a dog with his head down and all super sad, but he ended up following her, and
Yeah,
they
it was
kiss and
cute.
make up. And then we have these turtles. So Dom had mentioned he had thought maybe these were some of the kind of turtle like species that we saw in Resistance, but I
They're
looked
not
it
the
up.
same, right?
No, it's not the same. So I guess it's a new species. But I guess it makes sense, right? Like we've never seen this galaxy and this planet, so everything there
Everything is new. Yeah,
should be new, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
And that part reminds me a lot like the scene where Leia meets Wicked for the first time
Hmm.
on the Return of the Jedi. So it was almost the same, and they are cute. I mean,
Yeah. They're
we,
they're
we we
they're
might have some new plushie for Christmas.
yeah,
So
new toys. I don't know. They're not as cute as Grogu or even Porgs, but I mean, I guess the kids will dictate and where they want to go
yeah.
with that. So obviously he recognized the logo on her pauldron.
Mm.
It looks like Ezra has been kind of making them part of the rebellion as well. So they all popped up. It was funny because at first, I mean, anyone saw this, will see that they're all like a whole bunch of rocks, but they're all hiding in there, like and turtled under.
Like crabs
Yeah,
or
exactly.
turtle. Yeah.
So ended up following them. And then you have Balin picking up the tracks of Sabine, that the whole clan that she ended up killing.
Mm.
And over here the order. Oh yeah, this when Shin asks like, do you miss it? Uh, the
That
order.
part was is interesting. I
Yeah,
love how he described it. Like he missed the whole idea,
yeah,
but he don't miss the Jedi. So
yeah, exactly. He goes, do you miss it? The order. He goes, I miss the idea of it. He goes, but not the
yeah,
truth and the
through the
weakness.
weakness.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
put that in there. I thought it was very interesting. So it's like he's he's got some higher calling. I don't know what's going on, but he says that something keeps calling to him on that planet. So I'm very curious to know what it's gonna be like. And I think the next episode is gonna be, well, should be mind blowing. You would hope so for the final episode.
Yeah.
But I hope we'll get to close the loop on what's going on with him. Unfortunately, it'll the only probably the last episode we're going to see with him, unless there's something else that's filmed that we're not aware of. But it'll be the last time that we see him. Will there be some kind of sacrifice or who knows what?
Well, I hope he won't die because, to be honest, I think the whole show is built around him. I mean, he have uh, the presence and stuff like that. So it's very a good character.
Yeah, it just depends what they're going to do, what Disney's going to do, or Lucas is going to do, like with the legacy of either the actor or the
Mm.
character. So I hope it's not going to just try to rush some kind of weird ending, like the ship flies off and blows up. Like a
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, I'm very curious to
Because
see what they're
this
going to do with it.
this character doesn't deserve that ending. He needs
Yeah.
something big, you know?
And it's funny because like Shen says, like there's such a hurry to get out of here, talking about the Night Sisters and this when he makes that comment, he goes, perhaps they flee a power greater than their own.
Mm.
And like so anytime he talks, it's so cryptic, and you're just wondering like
Yeah.
what's he
We want to
alluding to? Yeah,
know.
give us more. So then Sabine ended up going over here. We got the reunion that everyone's been waiting for. And we got
Ezra.
Ezra with his nice little beard and his nice flow going there with the hair.
You look
Um,
exactly like this dad.
yeah,
I don't know if you remember that picture on Rebels.
yeah.
You look exactly
Yeah.
like him.
And I think it was you that mentioned something, or like how his outfit reminds of like something from like out of the Ten Commandments or something. Was it
Oh
Moses or
yeah, well, I think he looks like Moses. And
yeah?
also, I heard that this chainmail is made from the night trooper name tags.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a nice detail.
I was a little underwhelmed. I don't know about you, but like the reunion, it just felt like, hey, there you are. And I'm like, not a single tear dropped. Like
Yeah, it was not that special.
you kind of like turned your back on everything, and you gave up the orb and all that stuff. Like just to meet with it, and then I'm just like,
You
ah,
just give him a hug and
hey,
that's it.
bro, what's up? And I'm
Yeah,
like, man,
bro fist.
I was expecting like a tearful face, like running to each other, but it's almost like they're like, if had we done that, it would have looked like they were in love. Now it's just like, my long lost brother. But I'm just like, I was just
Yeah, but
very underwhelmed with it.
I think the relationship is a bit complicated because
Yeah.
sometimes the way Sabines talk about him, she's in love with him, and sometimes when she talks, she sees him more like a friend, a brother. So it's a bit confused.
Yeah, and I don't know, who knows, maybe if they're heading in a direction with Shin or something like that, but it was just a weird kind of vibe. I just thought
Mm.
like after all this time, what is it, like 10 years or something, and then everything you did, you kind of like did to meet
You
him,
put
and then you see
everything at
him.
risk, and you just see him. It's like, hi,
Yeah, like,
nice
oh,
to see you
it was
again.
more like of like, there you are. It's like, I don't know, I was a little underwhelmed, but maybe there's a purpose behind that
Yeah,
reunion.
maybe.
And even this like right after they hugged, they took the shot. There's not a tear in her face, like no emotion.
No expression.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just,
nothing.
just really, really weird. And he's
Mm.
talking about, can't wait to get back home. And like that made a little bit of a very uncomfortable moment. She's just like, doesn't want to talk about it. Ahsoka doesn't want to talk about getting back home, and you can see that's all he wants, right? So,
Yeah, he's
um,
sick of this place, I think.
yeah. So
You need a shower too.
yeah, well, yeah, and then it calls for them to pick up camp because they says that they don't stay in the same spot like that,
Yeah.
which is funny because like the whole, even their vehicles and everything, it's got that shell kind of look to it. So,
Mm.
so yeah,
I can wait to go home. Yeah.
yeah, awkward. So then after that, I think it was Morgan. Oh no, not Morgan, but the Night Sisters say that there's a presence coming,
Mm.
and Thrawn realized that Ahsoka wasn't dead, and that Morgan obviously was misinformed. And it says it's not like you to underestimate. Oh yeah, there it goes. I thought it was beyond
Yeah.
you to underestimate a Jedi. I think it's talking about like how Jedi's and I forget what else. They die and come back and all this stuff. Like it's just like it's funny because we see that all the time in Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
Somebody
now
big
it's
is dead,
something
and
common.
so that was basically this episode in a nutshell. So it basically what we got was the introduction of Thrawn, our first look at Ezra, which is very brief towards the end of the episode.
Mm.
But I mean, there's a lot to unravel. Those the Night Troopers, the Night Sisters. Just it was
The planets.
yeah. Visually, it
Because
was
the old
like
everything is new, so we
yeah. So I had a couple here. This is Shauna Terpsik that she wrote this on her Facebook. It's delicate filled. Thrawn collects art. They are fine art. The edges. So kind of like making like alluding to the fact that like all of his troopers are like this,
mm.
fine art and everything. And she wrote that this was the inspiration in another post that this was the inspiration for the night troopers. That
Yeah,
she
because
used this.
last night I did some research,
Yeah.
and this is a Japanese inspired art.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way they see it is when something is broken, it's not it's not a bad thing. You can just repair and make it stronger.
Coincidentally with
So
gold, which is beautiful and stuff like that.
yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
so anyway, it was funny because she's been posting. If I don't know if anyone follows her, I have her on my friend list, but she's giving some hindsight behind a lot of stuff that's going on. Some people commented, like I said, here are the imperfections and the weathering in his costume. Looks like some stitch repair, whatnot around the collar.
Mm.
Obviously a
Some
little
part are darker than
yeah.
the other.
So, but he still wears it, right? Like it's like it's the pride of
He's
his
proud of
costume.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
and this is something like it's you were talking about
Oh, the
his armor.
chainmail?
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
actually what inspires goes play that built the chess piece, then my team fine tuned the design. So it's an early sample
Oh, that's
that
very
she
nice.
put there. Yeah. So again, it's really cool that she's been able to. I don't know if she's allowed, but whatever. She's supplying these kind of like insights behind the costumes, behind
Mm.
the scenes, sometimes photos, and once the episodes come out, and yeah, this is like the
Yeah,
perfect
exactly the
shot.
same.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing. So
The hair, the outfit, even the color,
yeah,
uh,
the
they
belt and
match.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good catch. So I ended up seeing that I think after I saw your comment. So I'm like, oh, this will be perfect. Put that in there. So what did you think of the episode overall? Like,
I think it was very a nice one. I mean, after we see the Anakin episode, I was a bit afraid that how they gonna show us the rest because how you can top seeing Anakin again.
yeah.
So, but the moment I saw Tron, I was like, okay, they know what they're doing. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, they moved along with the story. I find like we needed to see him at this point, right? Like I mean, 8 episodes. You want to start seeing Thrawn, and I was looking forward to seeing him more than Ezra. Quite honestly, there's still
Yeah, me too.
no sign of Zeb, but that I mean that makes
I
sense.
feel
We
bad for him.
yeah we didn't have anything in this episode, but like I thought maybe there'd be a bit of flashbacks, but this just like the last episode concentrated on Ahsoka, this episode really focused on what was going on in Peridia. So it's like we got a little bit of a flash of Ahsoka at the beginning, and that was it. So on to that they moved, and coincidentally, the next episode is when it all kind of came together, which was part 7 called Dreams and Madness. So this one, we started with like what we expected was Hera's kind of like hearing after she kind of like went against her orders. I forget the name. This is where Dom comes in handy about
Where is Dom?
the governor. Yeah, it's over there. Who was being a total prick the whole time, and then Hera is obviously being grilled big time for what
Yeah.
she's done. But we got an unexpected little visit.
I was very surprised to see him.
Yeah,
I mean, at any minute, I felt like where Leah will show up. but
I thought
instead
the same thing because he kind of alluded. I mean, he mentioned her a couple times, and
yeah, and every time I hear the door open, I was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna show us Leia. We
hmm,
might see Leia," but instead we had C-3PO, which was nice. It was nice to see him
yeah,
again.
it's fun to have him in there. I mean, obviously, I don't think Anthony Daniels was in the suit, but I mean, we had his voice. It's funny how Hera, like, I always thought 3PO. I didn't think he was short, but Hera's tall. Like, I mean, and I think you've
Yeah,
seen her
she's
next to
very tall.
Ewan McGregor a few times. I think she's taller than him as well.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't
as a
know.
couple.
Oh, okay.
But obviously, like, kind of came in for the save, saying that like Leia was, aware of the whole situation and she approved it. Um, and after, oh, this was the part was funny
That part
because
was funny. Yeah,
yeah, talking about like you're not gonna, take the word of a simple droid or whatever he said, and
and you see Chopper all upset, like
offended by the whole thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, so then you have Mon Mothma over there. It was, you know, she said,
she's
"I'm not
now a
sure what's going on
chancellor.
with you and
Yeah.
Leia." She goes, and then, but how real is the threat? Because basically they don't believe this whole threat that's coming, right?
Mm.
And again,
Like if something impossible, like
yeah,
Tron
well,
can return.
we've talking about the New Republic and like the arrogance almost, right, that they have, that like, oh,
Mm.
everything's fine now, it's good, like this they won't be thing. And she had mentioned about what we had seen on Navarro, like in like the previous with Gideon and the Mandalorian. So now we know that like this is happening afterwards. But
Hmm.
that other guy said, he goes, oh, that was just Gideon was acting on his own and all this stuff. It's like it was just weird that like they just seem to brush it off. But he almost sounds like he's in on it, like he's got something going on. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
and they are so, I don't know if the right term is pretentious, or they feel
Yeah,
like nothing can hit them again. Like
yeah,
the Empire's dead, so we're good.
yeah.
But
And back to Balin's comments, right, about like the cycle, and we know what's inevitably coming in the sequels, right? Like the cycle
mm,
comes back. So I'm curious to see if Balin's gonna have anything to do with that cycle starting over. Um,
yeah, maybe.
yeah,
Maybe that's how Palpatine will return.
who knows? Because I mean, a lot of us thought that what was happening with Grogu and the clone of that, or what
Oh
Gideon
yeah,
was
I
trying to do. We
remember.
thought that maybe
Yeah.
that had something to do with it, but ended up being clones of Gideon that they were making. So
Mm.
I was almost positive that that's why they were trying to get Grogu's blood and all that stuff.
Yeah, me
But
too. That's why
um,
they needed him, but looks like it
I'm
doesn't work like
sure it'll
that.
all come together once the movie is out or whatnot. Like it'll be the perfect segue into the sequels. But I guess we'll see. And now we move back to what's going on with Ahsoka the whole time they were watching the last episode. And we got to see your boy Anakin again
Yeah, my
in the
guy is
yeah,
back.
yeah,
I don't know. I think he looks a bit much older now than the previous episode.
yeah,
I don't know
a
if
little
they
bit, yeah,
forget to. Yeah, you can see the lines on
yeah, in the forehead and
the forehead. Yeah,
but it was all right. It was fun to watch again. Seeing him in this outfit is super
yeah,
cool, and she's
yeah,
watching
and
old training recordings or
mm,
whatnot that he had for her. So it's funny because he's talking about going up against Grievous and Doku and
yeah. I think it was
Dooku.
nice that he mentioned them,
Yeah,
because I think it's the first time that we hear uh, the names in the real life. So I think it was very interesting, and also you see that Ahsoka keeps all the hologram of Anakin in a wooden box. So I'm wondering if she might give them to Luke or something like that.
yeah. Hmm.
So that could be interesting.
That's a good question. It'd be interesting, yeah, if he gave. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Here's your father's recordings, but I mean, so I think I saw somewhere they were talking about how did she and Luke meet, right? Like in
Hmm.
something like that. So that's something I'd like to go back and see the
Yeah, me too.
original
I would
meeting,
like to
right?
see because it was on the book of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Mando
and
2.5, basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they don't show us how they met, and I would, like you said, I would like to see the whole meeting. Like, oh, I knew your father and your mother, and
yeah,
tell Luke stories about Anakin and Padme. So I would like to see that. Yeah.
yeah. I'd be curious to know. I mean, obviously it's her master's son, right? So
Mm.
And then we had Ahsoka over here coming out of Lightspeed with the Purgles, and there was like some kind of like minefield that they had set up for them. And it's funny to see the Purgle they're like, oh, the Purgles are kind of like,
Are just leaving.
yeah, well, it was Hu Yang that's like, oh, they're kind of like covering us a bit, and then they just all bail. He's like, all right, that's it, we're out of
uh,
here.
and that scene reminds me the scenes in the Attack of the Clone when I think it was Obi-Wan when he arrives to Geonosis, and you have Boba Fett and Jango Fett
Oh
who
yeah,
haunts Obi-Wan.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, the scenes remind me this part.
So he also had them like kind of hiding on a ship, kind of reminded me a little bit of like Han Solo hiding and clinging onto something like we'd seen
Yeah.
it. And this is like I don't know what this is. Like I mean, I'd never seen this kind of trooper or whatever, but this came off the ship that off of Morgan's. I forget what it's called, the big ring ship that they have there. So they were the ones that
I
were.
think it was the eyes of uh I no I would say Iris Cyan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
I
think
think
you
yeah.
got it. Again, we need Dom. This is what we need Dom.
Yeah, Dom, where are you? We need you.
Should be at least watching, helping us out. But I'm sure he's
We're
very
trying our
busy
best.
packing and trying to get back tomorrow. So the new trooper, new
I hope
pilot.
you won't be disappointed.
I'll be all right. I'll be all right. So at this point, we had Thrawn that had asked for all the information that they knew on Ahsoka, and she said that it was the Inquisitor, I think, that gave
Mm.
all that information. He finds out that her master was General Anakin Skywalker.
Well,
So
I was a bit surprised because I thought that Tron knew Anakin, and
they
I
they
thought
they
that
they do. So in the books, I haven't gotten there yet, but they do have they do meet, and they kind of work together. I think on something. I don't know exactly. I haven't gotten there yet. But there's
okay,
actually one of the books, one of the covers is Anakin and Thrawn on the cover.
Tron, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So I thought that Tron would know that Ahsoka is Anakin Padawan. So I was a bit surprised when he looked like, oh, I didn't know that. So
yeah. So I mean, we only saw Thrawn show up in the Rebels series. So by that point, they weren't really together anymore. So I'm not sure
mm,
how far back and everything. But yeah, like you said, if he was with Anakin, um, again, I'm not sure exactly. I'll find out when I read the book. And then we'll always be one step ahead of her, which is something that, um, again, we've spoken a couple times about Thrawn and his knowledge and
mm.
always being very clever.
And he's always so calm. I mean, nothing stresses him out. He's just like, okay, we'll do that, and we shall see. And
Yeah. And then after that, we go back and they spoke about the getting home is kind of important, alluding back to that subject that she seems to be kind of like avoiding, and
hiding, yeah.
even with Ahsoka, it doesn't even talk about what's going on. Later, he finds out, but she's being very cryptic as well in what she's saying. She mentioned that Ahsoka had taken her on as a Padawan, and like he was kind of like shocked. She's like,
Yeah, he was surprised.
yeah,
You?
but she alludes to the training that they had together previously, and he remembered that. And so then you have Shin and Balin that were overlooking again in pursuit of them, and they eventually obviously find her. And then we had Ahsoka over here, the scene.
Trying
So
to reach Sabine.
yeah, so like obviously Hu Yang said I think that they couldn't track her, and as they were trying to find her to make their way, and then she goes, "I have another way." And so at this point is when we realize that Sabine was somewhat force sensitive. She did hear,
Mm.
um, but I don't know
Asuka.
if you need to be force sensitive to hear someone or just to communicate. But
Well,
um,
I think you might have to be a little bit because I think there's several level of force sensitive, right?
mhm. Well, obviously we know with
So
her, she has very little from what we understand, right? So
yeah, so she might have some, maybe
yeah,
not enough to be a powerful Jedi or something, but she might have some midi chlorier.
yeah. They even talk about that anymore. The midichlorian counts and all that stuff.
No, yeah, I'm too old school for that.
Yeah. So yeah, so as previously we had Thrawn asking the Night Sisters for their assistance to find her, to find Ahsoka,
Mm,
which they do, and then they had the Eye of Sion, like you said, just start firing away at their location, and they had to leave, and take your place in the coming empire. Here is the part where we had Balin kind of saying that go off and because they'd
I will
found
do on my
Ezra.
own. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, "You're gonna go off and take your place in the coming empire, and he's gonna stay behind." And it's just kind of weird, like he goes, "My path lies in another," which is,
Another.
uh, you know, something calling to him again. It's just I'm so
I really
intrigued.
want to know.
Yeah, I really hope that they're gonna spend. I hope we're not gonna get a 35-minute episode next week, or else I'm gonna be
I
very
hope no.
disappointed.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, was he talking or alluding to the fact that he's gonna be facing Ahsoka again? Did he know that that was inevitable?
I
But
think there's something else on the side.
yeah,
I'm sure there's something. I don't know if it's become underground or something ancient, but I'm sure there's something else.
yeah. So you get the night troopers are heading off to assist Shin and the in capturing, I guess, Ezra and Sabine.
Yeah.
And then you have this whole chase scene. So this episode, we can summarize it a little at the end, but I thought that there wasn't that much meat on the bones, I find, as opposed to like the previous episodes.
Mm.
But a bit of a chase scene here, to catch up, and then they formed a circle here to try to like fend them off. Uh, and then you got Ezra coming out. While in the meanwhile, you have Sabine that's trying to come and help them, but they can't land while they're being under attack, is what Hu Yang told them. And she jumps out.
And she's a jumper, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Just jump out here. And then she ends up actually jumping up, but facing against Balin. Oh, it's true. He does say at this point, he goes, "What? It's a bit of a surprise. He wasn't expecting to see her, I guess."
Mm. Because he
Um,
thought she was dead. So,
yeah. So they,
and it is me, or this lightsaber looks more red than orange.
well, it definitely looks red to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can see his stature here, how wide-shouldered he is. I'm just curious to know,
And
like,
he's
if
big
yeah,
and
even if they try to replace him, I'm curious to see how they're gonna do that. But great pose here, great shot. I mean, I had to pan out a little bit as to my usual format, but it's just incredible to see her like the Ahsoka, the white against the black of Balin. So
and she's not that. This time she used a double lightsaber
yeah,
because I think last time she only used one. So
but it's funny. We'll get to that part a little bit in a little bit about their battle. But here we had as like Sabine telling Ezra, take your lightsabers. No, I gave it to you. Don't worry about it. Like, because and then he says, because I'm strong with the Force or whatever it is,
yeah,
because the Force
I
is on
was
my
like,
side.
I was like, what's wrong now with people? They don't want their lightsaber back, like you, Luke, and the Last Jedi.
Yeah, well,
When Rey ends out this lightsaber and just throw it out. Sorry, and now this time you're just like, no, keep it. I was like, dude, it's your lightsaber.
yeah,
Take it.
we
Shut
don't
up.
we don't talk about that Luke Skywalker throwing the lightsaber scene. That's just gonna get me upset. But so
Oh, sorry.
Steve is here, Relevant Studio. Where's Lord Doom? Lord Doom is still in Florida right now. We mentioned her a little bit earlier, so I was with him for the first few days, but I think he's heading back tomorrow after his 10 days in Disney and multiple days on Battu. And so we'll have an episode talking about that. But yeah, so Dom is still living the dream, living his best life out there at Galaxy's Edge. I don't know if he was going back today, but I know he went at least 3 times. So that's where Dom is. That's why we're missing some of his brain and knowledge.
Knowledge.
So yeah, exactly, and lore.
We're trying our best to keep up.
So in this battle, it's completely different. I mean, at one point he does tell Ahsoka that you can't defeat me, and she says something like, "Well, maybe I don't have to." This is kind of crazy to see. Like, you can actually see in the lightsaber, like, the power of the Force she's using. She's
Yeah.
actually sending the waves of the lightsaber away from her. So it was kind
You
of
can
funny.
see it's really powerful with the Force.
Yeah, well, I mean, he hasn't had a lightsaber, I guess, as far as we can tell while he's
Mm.
been there. So probably got really strong with the Force in the
But I
meantime.
think it's the first time that we saw a Jedi fighting only with the Force, right?
I mean,
In the
aside from
movies.
Darth Vader, when in the Obi-Wan series, I think when he fought, what's her name, the
Reva?
yeah, and like he kind of like uses the Force almost like
Yeah, but
very
it's Darth
casually.
Vader, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
normal.
yeah,
But
but
I think it's the first time that I would see a Jedi doing it.
yeah. So it was funny because I mean, it just shows exactly like you said, like how powerful Ezra's gotten. And this is what I alluded to before, because you can't defeat me, and she says, well,
Mm.
maybe I don't have to, and she just so that Hu Yang immediately after fires off and causes a distraction while she runs away, um, and then he's left pondering, and then you have Thrawn over here talking about how this has been, time has been on their side, and all of
Ah,
this has been causes a bit of a diversion for them as they continue transporting what they needed to onto their ship to get out of there, which I think they originally said it was take about like 3 days or 3 cycles to move on to their
yeah, something like
to
that.
load up. Yeah, so again,
And
not really caring.
also, I don't know if you noticed, but when Ezra and Sabine kills the night trooper, they don't disappear like Marak. Like you don't see
Oh yeah,
green,
good call.
green magic. So
You're right. A lot of people were speculating that maybe that's what they were, but it could be that Enoch is one of those as well. Who knows? But
so
um,
I was wondering if these night trooper are only real person or zombie, but they're not night sister magic like something created by
yeah.
them.
So what we just, I guess assuming it was just the soldiers or whoever was on the ship when it disappeared. I guess, and
Yeah,
then the
or maybe
rebels.
or maybe they're just undead, but they're not as powerful or like I said, created by the Night Sisters. So maybe that's why when they die, they don't have the green,
The green smoke or whatnot. Yeah,
yeah, the green smoke, the
hmm.
green magic.
It's a good point. And then it was funny here. This I thought was like Ezra, like that we knew, like the kind of like a little bit comedic trying to get his way out. It's
Yeah,
like you could take us in as your prisoner, like just like it felt like the
don't kill
Ezra
us.
from it felt like the Ezra that we had in the Rebels series.
Mm,
I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah,
Um, and then alluding to the fact that he just needed to get all that diversion going on so they can make their escape, and time is
the
very much on our side.
the other thing I was wondering if I don't know if you can go back to the other screenshot. I'm wondering if these things are coffin with dead people.
What they're loading
So
on, yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
what is this cargo exactly? Yeah, it's
so I don't know if they will take these people and try to build a new army with the Night Sister magic, or they are something else. But I think they are dead people.
hmm.
So
I didn't think about that. I'm curious. Hopefully, all these answers or these questions that we have will get answered in the final episode. But it feels like there's a lot of expectation. And what I've learned is that with Disney series, like you got to kind of manage because sometimes you don't get the closure
time
that
is
you're
short.
looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, then they all left and leaving Shin behind. And then Ahsoka kind of like reaches out to her to tell her that there's there could be another path for her. Looks like she's
Yeah.
got Mando's.
For a moment, I was sure she was going to switch to the light side because you can see in her eyes she's lost and she's so pissed off that Balin left her there. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
maybe she gonna switch, but now she just run away.
yeah. She's very I don't know. It's a very curious character. I'm curious to know what's gonna happen with her and what path she's gonna follow, and is she gonna reunite with Balin to find out or see what's going on with him and
Or
um,
maybe they're gonna fight. We don't know.
yeah, not impossible, but I don't know. I just very very mysterious
So many
character.
questions.
Yeah. And then as she runs away, she holds off Sabine and Ezra from going after her. So
Mm.
it's like she knows that she, maybe she'll come around or whatnot. Um,
Or maybe she will come back to Ahsoka with some information and maybe, I don't know, secret,
yeah,
so they can escape, or uh, maybe that defeat but fight with Balin or Trons.
but I remember so. I mean, I took the shot here, and I remember why I took it is when they were talking. When Thrawn was looking, he mentioned that there was one mercenary short on the
Mm,
battlefield. So he realized that um, Balin is kind of gone his own way. So
mm.
and nothing goes unnoticed with Thrawn. Again, super
He knows
clever.
everything.
Yeah. Even this reunion here, so it's Ahsoka reuniting. I thought this was almost more fitting than the one we had with Sabine, but nitpicking
Yeah,
here.
they
So
they they looks more happy.
yeah,
I mean, say with Sabine, she hides some information from him,
yeah,
so she was not straight to the point. But with Ahsoka, you see Ezra is very happy to see her.
yeah. But it's funny. It's because he also says she goes, "Oh, I thought you were dead." He goes, "You thought she was dead," kind of thing, But
You didn't tell me that.
yeah. And then obviously ends up with Hu Yang coming to pick them up, and this is where we leave this team here. But
You
who
just
knows?
want to go home.
Yeah, again, stuck with I want to go home. But it seems to be more realistic at this point, right? That they're going to be going home, but what are they relying on the Purgles? What do they
I don't
think's going to
know.
happen here, right? So as far as I know, unless they have the coordinates now, can they probably head back with their own ship?
Well, I don't think they have them because uh the all the information was in the ball, right? And the ball got
But
destroyed.
would they be able to head
And
back to the coordinates of their own galaxy? Do they have those coordinates? I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And do they have the power to come back? I mean, you need a powerful ship.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
maybe they will use a Night Sister ship, or maybe they would sneak in the Tron ship.
I have no idea. It's I guess what we're gonna find out in the
Because I don't think they can come back on
on
their
their
own.
own with just her ship. I don't know. I'm curious to know. I mean, where's this gonna wrap up, right? So overall, I thought this episode was I don't know, maybe a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, this episode was like maybe a 4 or a 5 for me.
Oh really?
Be-
Okay.
yeah, it was not my favorite because the last one, it was very hype. I mean, with the Return of Tron, it was
Hmm.
very a nice episode. But this one, uh, I, it was a bit boring. I mean, I I feel bad saying that, but I
Hey,
was doing
it's
I
we're
was
allowed not to like everything, right? So, but
I'm
yeah.
not saying it was a bad episode, like a horrible episode, but I mean, I was doing other things on the side, and it was okay. So yeah, I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to look at the screen and watch everything. I was just listening, and I was like, okay, okay, okay. It
I,
was not that special.
I definitely felt underwhelmed when I was done with it. And I was like, ah. I just thought we're starting to peak. We had the Anakin episode, which a lot of people liked, and then we finally saw Thrawn. We were introduced to
Mm.
the Night Troopers, and we saw the Nights. We saw the planet. Like okay, this had it, and this I thought were like underwhelming battles with the turtle kind of species and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just thought that even the battle with Balin and Ahsoka was mm,
It was short and it was okay. It was not.
well, it's
It wasn't
anticlimactic. She just goes,
special.
okay, well,
Uh,
and she just leaves. He goes, oh, you can't defeat me, and she just, and leaves. And I was left with a lot of questions, and I
mm,
just find that heading into this last episode, it better be long, or else it's gonna feel like it's crammed with stuff to wrap it up, or
yeah.
we're just gonna have still a whole bunch of loose ends, and we're gonna be like, I guess I gotta wait
What's
for
next?
season two. Yeah, so which is unfortunate with all the strikes and everything like that.
Mm,
Um, who knows when we're gonna get them, right? So
And like you said, I was a bit disappointed because this one is like the last episode before the finale.
Yeah,
So I was sure that they would show us something bigger
I
with
really
more
thought.
action.
Yeah, you're. I think I thought it was going to be more of a two-part finale.
Yeah,
This doesn't
yeah.
feel like a two-part finale. This feels like a
No.
setup to a finale,
Uh, it
and
feels like a filler episode, and it feels like we still have like three or maybe four
you're right.
episodes left. So I don't know how they're gonna do that, but I hope it will be a very, very long and nice finale.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, when you turn it on, you're going to see something in the minutes of the 50s or something like that. At least to feel like
Mm.
you got an hour long, but I don't know. Are we gonna finally see Zeb? Are we?
I hope so because I feel bad for him. We see everyone else beside
And
him,
you saw
so
him in the Mandalorian series, which is kind of weird, right? And you saw him with,
yeah,
yeah. So you see the pilot, Paul Sung Hyung Lee's like character, like, and you see him with him, but you don't see him in this. So it's like, what's the
mm,
point? Like you could have very well switched those two characters together, right? Like, and swapped them out.
yeah. Because I think we've seen everyone else beside him, so it will be sad that they left him aside. So
Hmm. But I don't know. Okay,
I
well,
hope the next I hope the next episode will be great.
I,
That's all I
I
have to
have
say.
high hopes, and I'm hoping that it will be, but again, I'm managing my expectations. I feel like every time I get really excited or look forward to something, I got a big surprise with that Anakin episode in this series. I
Yeah, me
wasn't
too.
expecting that at all. I thought Thrawn was inevitable as an episode. I thought,
Mm.
like, okay, I wish you would have seen him a little bit sooner. He could have been more present throughout the whole series. I think this episode, I would have felt better having it maybe an episode or two ago, like, as the introduction, and then have a little bit of filler with Thrawn. But like, I don't know.
I would like to see him more. I would like to see more about the Night Sister, uh, how they created but well, I say created, but we don't know how they came up with the Night Trooper. But I would like to know more. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's again, so like, I mean, the episode before that I thought was pretty good. This
mm,
one is just basically a setup, I think, for a finale, and hopefully, I mean, we'll get something a little bit more, well, a little bit more closure, or
exciting.
yeah. So I'm not sure what to expect, to be honest with you. Like, it just depends on the
Yeah, me too.
direction. They're very secretive, right? So like, do they already have a full season two already in the works, or like not in the works, but like, set up? So if that's the case, then we're definitely gonna have to manage our expectations, because it might have no closure for the most part. I think Thrawn, I don't think is going anywhere. I'd be shocked if they eliminated Thrawn. Um,
I don't think they will kill him. I don't
no,
think
I
so.
think
They will
I
do
think
that.
there's a lot of hype behind him. I think there's a lot of potential in how they can use him for the next few seasons, or he'll
Mm.
probably be part of a big part of the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because also they have the movie, so I don't know when the movie should be released,
I
maybe
don't
in
know.
few
I think
years.
everything's probably delayed now, right, with the writer's strike and
Yeah,
everything. So,
yeah.
James says this whole season seems more like a reintroduction to characters we know, and will probably lead up to next season, where we see what happens with Ron. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
he's
probably
right.
right. That's probably what it is. It's a reintroduction to basically anyone who hasn't watched the animated
Mm.
series, and kind of a setup. And we get to meet all the characters, give us all the context, and then hopefully have a little bit more of an in depth. But the thing is, like, it's not like Mando, like, where you can just say, "Oh, this episode they're just gonna go and do this," right? Like, so he has like a kind of like a quest here, quest there. Like, you have
Mm.
to have more meat on the,
Background.
yeah. There's got to
Yeah.
be a lot more meat on the bones here with this story, because if he's there, then he's always affecting. So I don't know. It's I'm curious to see what's gonna
And
happen.
also and also you have to satisfy the normies fans and also the real not the real but the hardcore fans who knows everything. They read the book, they saw all the animated season and stuff like that. So you have to deal with both
Fan bases,
both
I guess. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you're
So it must be hard to do.
Yeah, So I guess a lot of questions. Hopefully, most of them will get answered, or get some kind of closure. Well, I guess you don't want closure as well. I mean, if it leaves us knowing that there's another season coming up, then something else to look forward to.
Mm.
So I guess we'll leave it on that. But as usual, Dom would say what's coming up in the next review. So there's no review coming out tomorrow. It is an interview with a girl called Labeth. She actually worked on at Galaxy's Edge at Olga's Cantina and also on the Star Cruiser. Um, she's active on Instagram and always showed kind of what she was wearing when she was working, and she has a very positive outlook on life in general. Like when you follow her, she's always giving positive messages and being very candid sometimes about stuff that she's going through, but like just very fun to follow. And we had an interview with her, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, right before we left on the trip, and
Yeah, I think yeah,
gave
maybe
us
2 weeks, a weeks ago,
yeah,
something like that.
she gave us some kind of, whatever she could share about the details about working for Disney and on Galaxy's Edge, and what she could not, do, share and whatnot. So it's very interesting. So if you're interested in seeing that part, because obviously I think the last cruise, I think, is finishing tomorrow. Actually, when Dom will be coming back, I think it'll be their last voyage for the Star Cruiser. It's funny because when we were there, also, there's like a big kind of like hangar door, and that's where the people that are on the Star Cruiser come out, and they're like in their role play and whatnot, and Nick noticed them
Mm.
right away. They're wearing these pins and stuff like that. There's a lot of like cosplaying from that, a lot of costumes and everything like that. So it's unfortunate that it's closing, but we'll get a little bit more, like I said, a little bit more details. So tune in tomorrow with the interview with her name is Laura Beth, otherwise known as LaBeth. You'll have all the information to go and give her a follow on Instagram. And that's it. So, on that note, I hope we did a decent job in Dom's absence. Dom is probably, I don't know if he's cringing or whatever if he's watching this, but
I hope he's proud of
yeah,
us.
yeah,
We
yeah,
did our best.
yeah. We there's no replacing Lord Doom. So
Yeah,
I'm
we miss
hoping
him.
he had an amazing time the days that I wasn't there. Made the best of his trip. And we'll be seeing him next week on the finale, where we cover the finale. And I'm pretty sure we'll have an episode recapping our trip. Probably have Nico Crank on our show as well to recap all and have tons of photos. I know his dad was filming absolutely everything there, so there'll be a lot for us a lot of meat on the bone for that one. So on that, thanks for watching. And may the force be with you.
Remember, the force will be with you, always.